Let's go. How we doing, everyone? Hope everyone had a fantastic midweek. Wednesday for us here in Australia. Market's giving us some interesting setups. Freezing and breezy. I'm reluctant to say freezing when we have some Canadians on the call. They get it real cold. For us, 9 degrees Celsius cold. Out there is like minus 45. We have it pretty good here in Queensland, Australia. Yep. I'm actually wearing my jumper myself. So yeah, not puffer jacket, but all right. I reckon we'll get kick. Let's get kick in. Let's get kicking. Let's start. Let's go. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are tuning from today. It's evening here in Australia for us, 7:30. And we're going to take a look at some interesting setups that our market is definitely giving us. So, hello Daza in the chat. How you going, mate? Look, let's start straight away with the elephant in the room. Elephant in the room is the Bitcoin dominance. Massive drop off. We had a bit of a obviously retracement. Now we completely stopped round about the 786 to 86 area. But what's really catching my interest now is that here we have actually managed to form some structure. So these were obviously lower highs. This was a higher low. And then we ended up going some higher high, higher lows, higher highs. And then now we have closed yesterday's candle below the previous low. So I consider this a break of structure. Not the cleanest by all means. This is really the low that we want to see taken out before having a solid confirmation that Bitcoin dominance is ready to reverse. But this is certainly a start. So you can see my big eyes there. I am keeping my eyes out now because Bitcoin dominance might very well reverse here and start making some lower lows and then obviously continue lower. If that is the case, it means that all the alts are going to start to run. And we certainly have seen some of the alts already starting to run now. So that is an indication that potentially we are gearing up. However, this could also be a fake out and we could continue higher before we go lower. So there's a bear case and there's a bull case for both scenarios, and at the moment I am still a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger on call it all season. Let's just wait a couple more candles, which in this case are going to be a couple more days. The weekly candle is about halfway through, so you can see it's definitely printing a bearish structure here. Once again, you can see on the higher time frame, the real structure that we need to kind of take out is that 63%. So once we close below there on the weekly, which is going to be obviously just in 4 days, and or we actually end up making and continuing to take out the lows on the daily structure too. So obviously we're taking one out. Now if we take this one out, this might be it. This might be it. So I am not positive just yet, but I'm certainly hopeful that we will finally start to see this Bitcoin dominance drop, and therefore alts starting to run. And ETH BTC obviously inverse correlation with the dominance. This is probably the most important chart that we want to keep an eye on, because it is effectively the temperature gauge of alts. And you can see we have obviously started to break some structure a while back. We have pulled back nowhere near as low as I thought we might be. I thought we might end up filling up some of these imbalances, but no, we've managed to hold up high And now, yesterday, we actually ended up printing a higher high again. So this was obviously higher high, higher low, lower high, higher low, and then we ended up doing a lower high or equal, depending, and then a lower low again, and then a higher high. So it's a bit of an indecisive move. I still think that for ETH BTC, we could potentially see a reversal down, but that obviously means that the Bitcoin dominance goes up. So once again, I'm just waiting at the moment. No position is also a very good position to have in this current situation, but this is my weekly view of where ETH BTC is at. You can see we obviously at extreme levels. We have clear major liquidity many times, and these weekly candles obviously showing massive momentum building. We are still going to have to face some selling pressure once we get to this level up here, but it will be temporarily. Once we get up there, I'm fairly sure alt season will be definitely starting to warm up nicely, and alts are going to start to rally. So for now, eyes on the daily, and let's keep an eye on what the market is going to give us. With those two out of the way, it doesn't mean that we can't look at some setups in the main fours anyway. And one of the ones that I've been looking at, of course, as I'm sure everyone else on this call, it's Bitcoin. So someone in the chat today was asking if the 5 minutes was a buy potentially, and I am a little bit reluctant to take any buys, and I'll show you why. So started off obviously on the daily. We can see we have not yet, and I'll just see if I can make this, because we'll need this on the daily. So I'll just clean it up a little so we don't have a lot of stuff on the chart there. 1 and 2, and that didn't work. What's happening there? There. Because I'm on the hours, that's why. Never mind. Not important. Sorry, 2 seconds. What we see here, obviously, massive rally up, and then we ended up doing this beautiful sell to buy move, which we will definitely, I think, come back to once again. Just not yet, but it could be potentially in the next few days, potentially even into the weekend. We might see some sort of dump from the market, which is obviously something that the market has been doing, except last weekend, which we actually been pumping. But this is definitely an area of major interest for me. This is on a daily. But what's important here to notice is that we have failed to make higher highs. Obviously, this is all-time high for Bitcoin, $112,000 there today. We have managed to push through about 80% of that area. We didn't even clear these highs, so we have left a fair bit of liquidity up here. What is Bitcoin? This is Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin now? Antoine, you got me there, mate. You got me. Sorry, reading the chats as I'm going through. We have now obviously left some imbalances behind. And if you put the pieces of the puzzle together, so failed to take out liquidity on the above, didn't manage to make a higher high. Let's scale down in lower time frame and see what is happening. So this is where my bias is starting to form a little bit, and today was a good example of it. So this was obviously high. You can see even on the hourly, we did close a little bit above, but we didn't obviously take out that liquidity. Instead, what we did do is we have managed to absolutely obliterate this candle of interest, and we are now stalled completely. We have made equal highs. You can see the closes of these two candles, 1 and 2, they're pretty much the same. They're equal highs, hence the two colors, and we are likely going to push lower, in my opinion. So when this kind of formation happens, you can see there is basically, look at the wicks, look at the candles, look at the closures. So obviously big spike up. Still, here there was still some sort of, in this week, still some sort of buying pressure, which obviously got pushed down, but here there was hardly any. So you can see there's no wick at all. Basically candle open up here, close up here, didn't even tend to go any higher, and then the bears obviously came into play. So I'll be more inclined, if I was to play any setup right now, to look for a short potentially, and we might even be able to look for one live right now. The reason is obviously imbalances, right? we can see them imbalanced right here, and this major candle, which we just looked on the daily, candle of interest. So if I was to put a short, this is an area that I'd be quite happy to take it, because I am effectively, I'm at a premium. I'm high into the range, right? This was all-time high. I'm definitely closer to the high of the range than that I am to the bottom of the range. So the risk to reward does make sense for me up here if I am to attempt a short, but the stop should be a little bit more generous, because these equal highs, which are not quite equal, but they're still high and high, are still maintain intact, meaning that we still might see a push up, grab a liquidity, fake out, and then the move down to continue. So let's have a little look what's happening on the lower time frame, if we can see any setups. And once again, now that I've showed you, we can probably delete this and keep a nice clean chart. Nice buy to sell. I haven't looked at this chart since this afternoon, so I wanted to do live with you guys and girls. And obviously, yes, this is a nice move eventuating currently on Bitcoin. We are breaking structure. This wasn't really structured. This was obviously low, high, higher low, higher high, and then now we are pushing below this this low here. So if I was to play some sort of short, the 50 minutes is not really giving me a whole much. The 30 minutes has this candle of interest right up here, but you can see we definitely traded well into it, over 50% of that candle. So this could be a nice candle to play off. This 30 minutes I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see this 30 minutes candle right here, and I'll circle it and we can have a look at it and understand why. So we'll do this and this candle right here. So what this candle does is obviously takes out previous liquidity, which on the lower time frame we would have had some sort of highs there. So we mark them up right there, and then we also mark up the 30 minutes candle right there, and we scale down and see what that candle did in the 15 minutes. You can see what happened there was obviously a buy to sell move, and then we traded back into that candle, which was an point of interest, excuse me. We traded into it, filled some orders, and now obviously the move is eventuating. So I don't actually think we are going to go back to that 30 minutes candle now. The market is moving quite quick, but we might come back into this 5 minutes candle proximity. So there's some nice imbalances being left behind right there. There's a fair value gap right there that we can trade off. Doing a bit of a live session here. Let me know in the chat if that's okay, if we can look at some live setups, or if you want me to keep going, we can keep going. I am easy, but I thought if there is a setup that eventuates, it'd be cool to have a look at it together here on the chats. So this will be a possible setup. Yep. Thanks, Bertok. Yeah, love live setups. Excellent. So let's have a little look, see what the setup will look like. Am I happy with that? This will be a scalp, and we would need to play a relatively short, also tight, I should say, not short, but tight stop loss. And this will be the area of liquidity that has my interest. 1, 2, triple equal highs. So there is a possibility that we actually go and grab that. So you'd have to be a bit more generous there, and potentially targeting those New York low, which was the previous session. If I go into trading session, you can see what I'm talking about. This was the previous New York session that printed a low down here. So there's obviously an area of liquidity, a pool of liquidity here. We've already cleared the previous Asia session that just closed a couple of hours ago, and now we are well and truly into London session. So this area will be my TP. If we do come back up here, I don't know if we will, but if we don't, there's no dramas. I'd rather skip a trade than having to force it. So entry at 109.495, and a stop loss just call the 109.815. So this will be a 1 to 3.5 for a scalp. This would be yeah, I'll be okay in setting this one up. Now, do we get up there? That's the question. Looks like the market is absolutely ready to melt. So, but London session might bring in some volatility, and 1 minute does have some nice imbalances left behind, and you can see, oh, sorry, you can see this is the 1 minute balance, the 1 minute candle, which also coincided with the 5 minutes candle of interest, even nicer. So if I actually, oh gosh, this is way too big. Delete that. Oh, what's this? Oh my gosh, what is this? There. Anyway, you can see it. So it's basically this one right here. That candle right there, it's got my interest. If we get it back up there, of course, you might even want to allow a little bit of room there at the wick. You're still well and truly into the 1 to 3 territory in terms of risk to reward. So let's have a look at what that brings it to. Yeah, 1 to 3.2, 1 to 3.3, which is still very good. So this will be a limit order, not a market order, like I said, because the risk to reward for a market order is not quite there. But on the hourly, still leaves us a little bit tight. You can see there is still a possibility on the higher time frame. Then we do some sort of movement like this, where we come back up here, we bounce around, and then we come back up, and then eventually we move down lower, and we go into filling this kind of level right here, and quite obviously this area of imbalances. Here will be my immediate interest into this candle. There's a big fair value gap, which also has an important level prior to that with a high before, with a buy to sell move. So this was the high, and this is obviously the imbalance right here. So this will be a massive target for me if I was to short. So if I was to take a swing, as opposed to the scalp that we'll be taking at, it would have to be with a much more generous stop loss, and the take profit will be somewhere there. So we're looking at just under a 1 to 3, which you can make it a 1 to 3 if you tighten the stop loss a little bit, but this will be a swing. So obviously different take profits. We would have to see how far down Bitcoin goes and or if it reverses. But two setups right here, one for a scalp if we go back up there, and once again, if we do go back up there, one for a swing. And the swing could easily go from this 1 hour candle right here. So the coordinate for the swings, let me bring it across, will be that. So 109,458. So pretty close entries, with the final TP basically being this right here. And obviously we would have take profit along the way, and take profit would look like 50% of this candle, likely potentially even the entry right there of that sell move, and then we will probably end up doing some sort of TP. I'll have to look on the lower time frame, but just winging it here now will be somewhere, let me grab it, somewhere around here into that low right there. Cool. So that's Bitcoin. We'll see how it plays out during the session, and we'll come back to it. And you can see on obviously higher time frame, Ethereum has instead decided to absolutely push through any previous accumulation level. So this was obviously creating liquidity low and high, and we have now blasted through. So it's interesting to me that we have traded into this candle of interest, and we are, and I might actually just mark it up so you can see what I'm talking about. These two order blocks, so it's a 2 candle order block, but really it's just the last one that I'm interested. So it's just that one. It has traded into this candle, of course, and it's doing exactly what the market does, which is it reacts to levels. This was the last buy before a major sell. Imbalances all filled, play it out, touched it once, and now we are seeing some sort of bearish action. The real kicker for me in Ethereum, though, will be once we get up here. So I'm less inclined to short at the moment, and you can see obviously we just looked at Bitcoin is still on a bearish structure, has not made the higher high, whereas Ethereum has made a higher high. So it is in a much more bullish price action effectively. So I'm still a little bit on the fence about shorting Ethereum. I'd rather short a bearish structure than a bullish structure. But this is definitely going to be the area where we will have some sort of nice short setup. Even though obviously currently we are printing a bullish price action. So for now, if I was to take a setup between ETH and Bitcoin in terms of shorts, I would definitely go with Bitcoin for just for the daily structure starting already to reject, and it's a bit clearer, I guess, if it makes sense. And this is probably one for, I can't remember if it was Jordan who was in the chat. Someone was taking the shorts. No, it was Sunday in the chat. So I would wait on ETH. And of course, we now have Solana. So Solana, interesting spot on the daily. What we have is a very big breaker structure, push through this major resistance or major buy to sell move, made higher highs, and still managed to keep the low. So this was the low, and you can see we still managed to maintain it. And now the real test is going to come up here. So what do? Do we bounce back and retrace from this order block, which also coincide with this order block? So this area is definitely an area of interest for Solana. There's a lot of selling pressure up here. So we are quite close to it, but we are still somewhat in the middle of a range. So I'm not going to touch Sol currently. It's in the middle of this range. And what I mean is this is the bottom. This is the top, and if I was to do my range, you can see we are pretty much halfway through a range. So we're not at the bottom, we're not at the top, we're in the middle of a range. There's no point in me trying to force a trade when it's in the middle of the range. I don't like the risk to reward there. I like to either sell at a premium or buy at a discount. So no trade zone for me in Sol, but still it's good to see that we have obviously maintained the lows. So great display of strength there from Sol, from not pushing lower despite all the FUD. And speaking of daily ranges, this is from the other week, I think, from last week when we looked at it. Obviously, XRP is still within that daily range as well. It is inching higher towards that premium premium area. So it hasn't broken down. I was expecting it to take out these lows, to be honest, but it hasn't. It has actually managed to push higher and break some sort of intraday structure. You can see this was a low, obviously higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and higher high. So we have somewhat broken intraday structure, I guess, but it's not intraday because each candle is a day. Intra-weekly structure. And now we'll see if what the market does. If BTC decides to rally or to dump, and obviously the whole market will follow. And in which case, if BTC does retrace lower, I'm expecting XRP to come and take this liquidity down here. It will be likely a very quick wick. You can see XRP does this kind of moves a lot. So these liquidation events, 1, 2, 3, they're all over the place. And I would expect it to do something similar again. So I do actually have an entry set up here at 1.87, which we covered last week off a daily candle, but also off a 4-hour candle of interest. So this was the 4-hour candle. Oops, sorry, get rid of that. This was the 4-hour candle that got my interest right there. This one right here. So I'm gonna still wait for XRP to show me its moves before I do anything. Definitely not a current market price. So just once again, just a bit more patient here on XRP. And I think TAO was a good one because we nailed it last week. We called it live, and I don't know if anyone of you guys took it. This was the live trade live setup. I shouldn't say trade, setup that we called last week. We had an entry 1 and we had an entry 2. Entry 1 was tight with a tight stop loss and did get stopped out, but entry 2 we got it nicely. So you can see we almost got stopped out, but now it's well and truly into profit. In fact, it's already almost it's over a 1 to 2 already into profits. And I am expecting TAO to continue a little bit lower for a bit. So If you are in the TAO short, obviously make sure that you do take profit at a 1 to 2. You should have already definitely taken profit and definitely moved your stop loss into break even, if not even slightly in profit. So yeah, just wanted to show this was a setup from last week that is going obviously in the right direction as we expected. And speaking of setups, changing gear a little bit, we were covering Intel on the stocks chart. This was our area, DCA, $20.50, called somewhere around here, I think it was. It was definitely after this big push down, so it was somewhere in this last couple of weeks. And we have now started to move quite nicely on Intel. So almost 10%. Today they had an announcement of a new CEO, so market is starting to move. Intel has some serious upside in my opinion. You know, a move like this from our entry is totally doable, 40% and potentially even coming back into this kind of candle, and that will be a 75 to 85% move. But for now, we have a nice 10% move, which on stocks is absolutely fantastic. And that is pretty much what I wanted to show you in terms of quickly running through the main fours and a couple of live setups. And now I'm going to open the floor if you have any requests. And if you want to take a look at any charts, obviously, if you are watching this recording, you can't do that, but you can leave down a comment down below. Leave a comment, say good day, and let me know what you want to see more of. But if you are live here with me tonight, I'm going to have a quick sip of water and you can just drop some either tickers or charts. Visa. Let's have a look at Visa. Nasdaq. No, that's not it. Is the ticker actually Visa? Yeah, it is. It's that one right there. GPW stock. Let's have a look at it. Nah, this can't be right. What's the ticker? Visa CDR card hedged. This, no, it should be a Nasdaq. Is that VSA maybe? Yeah, have a look at what the ticker is. It might be Visa. It will make sense to be Visa. And the logo kind of is that. Oh, V. Okay. Oh, even better. Cool. V. There you go. Let's have a look. Well, this thing is just up on the A. I'm on a weekly now, so this would be a great time to buy that a week when we had that big push down, clear that liquidity. Yeah, no trade zone for me now. If you're in already, great. Hopefully you're in from a low, but if you are thinking of adding a position at this high, I definitely wouldn't do that. I wouldn't recommend that. I know that they've got a lot of products coming out, and yeah, missed the breakout. They've got a lot of products coming out, and obviously there's a lot of crypto integration coming up. But when you see a stock or a chart, for the matter, doesn't have to be a stock that has pumped this much, you either wait for the retracements and you wait for those liquidation events, or you just kind of have to give it a miss. And yeah, this would have been a great opportunity. When you see this kind of, see the break right here, the gap, it didn't quite fill it fully, but it did fill part of it, right? And when you see these kind of large gaps on stocks, definitely highlight them, put an alert, and yeah, watch what the market does. The big giveaway here would have been, and I'll just mark it up here. The big giveaway that we were gonna come back lower was pretty much here. As soon as we broke structure, that was the giveaway right there. So, sorry, other one. Right there. So, failed to make a higher high, closed below the low, and that would have been, yeah, a first level of interest below this equal lows right here, and somewhere into that fair value gap right there. So this would have been a great opportunity. Unfortunately, if you missed it, you missed it. That's okay. There's going to be more, but don't rush position into it right now. Yeah. There is plenty more stocks out there that we can have a look at, and some of Nike has been very nice to us. If you took our entry, you will be up nicely. This was an entry that we took back in April, and we up nicely on Nike, you can see. So KMNO made it low time frame breakout to go back into the combo on higher time frame. Let's have a look, actually. KMNO. I'm assuming you mean KMNO Finance. Let's have a little look. Oh, you missed Nike too. Bummer. Back into the convo on host. Yeah, so KMNO is a project that I am interested in. Actually, there's not a lot of data there, but I do have it somewhere here into my soul. DeFi. Where's my soul ecosystem? KMNO. This is a project that I am interested in. Obviously, on a daily, you can see we are somewhere now we've passed the middle of the range. We've done a nice big retracement down here. This was the lows back, and we retraced about 70%, 80%, and now we're trying to push higher. So if you are thinking of adding KMNO here spot, probably not a worst of spots, because we are closest to the low, but I wouldn't recommend doing it right now. I would probably wait for a pullback. Let me just get the tool pullback, and then this is where you enter somewhere into the pullback, right? You don't want to enter. You don't want to FOMO into position right now at a breakout. If this is the chart that you mean with KMNO, which I think it is, because the ticker is KMNO Finance. So talking to T-Bone Bay in the chat. I do like KMNO though. Finance. In fact, I think we covered it the other day. Anything DeFi, this is where I am probably putting my my little nest in this upcoming, in my opinion, very short, but upcoming alt rally. It's going to be a lot of DeFi plays for me coming up. Yeah, definitely wait for a pullback. Like this is on a daily 1, 2, 3 relatively big daily candles, and even like on a 4-hour, you've got too many. Like this is I wouldn't want to buy here, right? And to be perfectly honest, you probably want to, you almost want to short KMNO right this second, because look where you come into. You come into a massive buy to sell move, and I can almost guarantee you, and I'll just for giggles, I'll probably put it here, somewhere there, and if you do some sort of like short like this, I almost guarantee you that you can short it at the moment. And I'm not talking long term. This will be like a kind of like not intraday, because it will take probably a couple of days, but definitely not a swing. Because long term, I would like to see this coming back and obviously break these highs. So, but yeah, I wouldn't buy now. You'll be underwater, almost guaranteed. This 4-hour candle is just way too ugly. This is manipulation. So when you see these kind of candles right here, with this wicks, yeah, you know that there's manipulation and yeah, you can see this candle just gave it away. This one right here, this last candle right here, just gave away the intent. Oh, where's my drawing tool? Right here. So we are likely going to see some sort of retrace down on KMNO, fill these imbalances, come back up, and then potentially move higher. So here's another setup right now, live. Current market price, KMNO short, close, very tight stop loss, I would say. You want to put it just above this high, which will likely be at a fib level. Let's have a look. Low to high. You're at the 50.618, just above the 618. So yeah, I'm cool with that. If you must take a setup, probably not the prettiest, but definitely don't buy KMNO on spot right now, or on leverage breakout. Wait. Cool. Any other charts that we want to take a look at? This was KMNO. I'll put it there so we can follow up next week. Any charts? Any charts? Go for it. Thanks, Rico. Have a good night, mate. Thank you for tuning in live. Always appreciate you guys when you tune in live and make time for us to be here. So, REKT. I don't even know. Oh, REKT. What is REKT? REKT. Is it even here? Yep. On KuCoin. Oh, no. This is RPK. Cool. Let's have a look. TP levels. I don't know, man. What is this? Tell me in the chat, Antoine. I have no idea what REKT is, but this thing is mooning on a daily. Is this the right chart? Because if this is, you're up 7x. This is OS. Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I remember now. Yep. Man, I have no idea. Like you don't really. It's really hard to do a TP level on something that goes like this. Like I could do an inverse fib level, and I can tell you that right now we are at an inverse. Like we are potentially at a selling pressure level right now, and the next big selling pressure level will be up here, and the next one will be up here. That's kind of like where the chart, I could tell you where the levels are. But in terms of TPs, I have no idea about the tokenomics, so we'd have to look at the tokenomics, what they look like, what's the distribution. There's a lot of other things that, yeah, look, I mean, I don't know when you enter, but if you enter anywhere in the last, what is it, last month, you're up considerably, so you'll be silly not to take profit. You're up 4x. Man, take profits. Yes, do it now. So this thing is up 7x from the lows, and I would definitely recommend anyone, even up here, like if you were, anyone that entered late, you'll still be up. Yeah, you still be up almost 2x. So, yep, good. Secure the profits, eat some bread, and yeah, this is a fib extension level that might see some selling pressure. Cool. Love me a little unknown meme coin that I do zero of. As you guys know, I am not a meme coin trader, and I used to dabble a little bit, but yeah, just didn't necessarily go down the rabbit hole of meme coins. Even though in GTG we are printing currently 319% in this last month alone in return. So yeah, no, absolutely, Antoine. I'm happy to look at anything. Like, yeah, that's what I mean. I even put it in the chart. So I wanted to be this session more about you guys and try to provide some entries. And even if you have any charts that you have marked up, I'm happy to go through them and give you guys some feedback and look at some of your entries in this kind of session. So that gives you a bit of a feedback, live feedback, which sometimes it's not the easiest thing to get. So. Easy. So look at what Bitcoin is doing in the meantime on a low setup. We might get the little retrace. Hype. Yeah. Let's have a look at Hype, and just make sure you put those limits for BTC, because I think this might have been it actually. We might not get it. When you see these kind of candles, these may have been the entry halfway into that big fair value gap. So it might leave without us. But let's have a look at Hype. Boom. And you can see I did the same thing here in Hype. This was a selling pressure level. And in Hype, we have actually printed an harmonic. So this is a short opportunity, I can tell you, just looking at it. And while running through why, let me grab my harmonics. This is on a 4-hour. We have low to high to low to high again. So this is what's called a butterfly harmonic. And if you take because from X to A, A to B retraced, you can see 80%, so past the 786 level. So this is an harmonic. Sorry, what I'm getting lost there. This is a butterfly harmonic. Get it out already, Aussie. There. A to X. First fib that we want to see is this 1414 to 1272. This is my favorite area for butterfly harmonics to reverse from. And yeah, we're definitely pushing down. So it's a sell on hype right now. It's 100% a sell, and on the low time frame we are going to attempt, if you want to be absolutely diligent, I would like to see, which we should be when we trade, you want to see this structure taken out, so a close below this 1 hour zone and then a retracement back up, probably somewhere into this candle, and then eventually another low and enter on the retracement. So I wouldn't necessarily short right now because we might come back into the retrace, deeper into this butterfly harmonic, and sometimes they even go to the 1618 extension. So you might find that depending, and it looks like this chart is obviously got a lot of strength. So if I was to do that extension again, just to give you a visual reference, it might actually come back even higher. So but I do like the 1272 to 1414 for butterflies, but not discounted that we can't go back into the 44 or 45s. But I do like hype for a short. So what I'll do, I will set an alert, and I'm going to do once per bar close, and I'm just going to say close below, and I got my alerts. I'm gonna, once it closes below, I look for the sells and I wait for the lower time frame confirmation. That's it. Copy paste. I've got, make sure that it's always once the bar closes, because otherwise if it tags it, it's not valid. I want to see a close below this kind of structure on the 1 hour, but chances are they're on the 15 minutes. No, we haven't broken really structure just yet. This wasn't really structure for me. We might still face some potential buying pressure once we get up here, but definitely keep an eye on it. Definitely keep an eye on it. On hype. Good chart. Thank you. Might actually call it out, Monistar, and we can have a look at it. And once, and if it breaks structure, and if it does break structure overnight for us here in Australia, all you have to look at, if you are in the US or in Europe, is wait for market to close on the hourly to close below this 1 hour candle. If it does, you wait for a retest, so obviously move up, so a retest of the highs, fill of this imbalance right here, and then you can take a short. Okay, so the short would be somewhere, and this is absolutely winging it, but somewhere here to in terms of TP. When you have a harmonic, the way I like to trade them is I do my TPs from the last high or low to high in this case, and I do a 50%, 50 to 61.8, but 50% is good enough for me to get to start. So if I see obviously more bearish pressure, we can go lower, but you can see there's some nice movement here that we can potentially come back into. So this will be a potential short on hype, depending on obviously what the market gives us in the next couple of hours, 3-4 hours, which I'll likely be sleeping for. But cool, like that. Anyone else or anything else? Love me some harmonics, you guys know. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed Bear Talk, my friend. Thank you, team. Cool. Well, if there's nothing else, I will leave these charts up here for us to obviously come back to, but I also post them in my channel, so you've got some levels to go by. And yeah, for now, thank you for tuning in if you are live, or thank you for watching the recording, and we'll see you guys another week. Bye.